It is Wednesday, August 4th. 4th? It's the 4th. First show of a new month. August.
This is true.
This is true, but I'm just like, it's August already. Like, is the summer done? Do we still have a month left of summer? I hope that there's other things to be done for the summer.
Preach. I think my summer is finished, unfortunately.
I'm like, hope. I don't. What do we do?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we did go to Miami.
Yeah.
In the first week of June, but that, no joke now,
Feels like forever.
is legit 2 months ago and feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But we're post-trade deadline, and last week we went over some of the MLB moves that I thought were going to happen. Some of them did happen. I was right on some, wrong on others. And some moves just were not made. So, officially, this is like the drive for the pennant race. We have August, we got September, and with one deadline that was on Friday, these are your rosters for the rest of the year. And I'll start with just how the Yankees and Mets have played. Mets are literally in a downward spiral. Their lead on the NL East has shrunk all the way to a game and a half. They can't score more than 3 runs in any game. Their starting pitching has now been pretty friggin' bad since the All-Star break. I think their starters are sitting at like a 5.5 ERA. In their last like 40 games, a starting pitcher's gotten a win in like 4 games. And like they're like playing under 500 in the last like 46. Their bullpen's has been fantastic. But since the break over the past few weeks, starters aren't doing their job. They are digging themselves in a hole right away. Marlins, these past 2 Marlins games, right? Within the first 3 innings, Marlins have had a 4-0 lead. But of course, throughout the game, 4-3. Last night, 4-3. Bullpen, 8th inning, gives up like an insurance run, 5-3. 5-3. They end up scoring a run in the 9th inning yesterday. They lose 5-4. That insurance run in that bottom of the 8th inning for the Marlins was the difference maker. So, yes, the offense is a problem, but when your pitching is immediately putting your team in a 4-0 hole within the first 2 innings, that's a problem.
It's a hard deficit to come back.
Right. In anything, like 4 runs. In today's game, 4 runs should not be like, all right, 4 runs, like let's pack it in like there's like our win. If you're only scoring 4 runs a game, you're not winning much. Like the Mets, who average like 3.8 runs a game right now, are second to last in the majors. So, in runs scored per game. So they're not playing well. Yankees swept those Marlins over the weekend, got those jobs done. Lost Monday to the Orioles, won last night, got a great win out of Luis Gil. His first start in the bigs, he looked very, very good. And Mets and Yanks made some moves at the deadline. Javi Baez is a New York Met. It honestly might have been the only one I got right, to be honest. But it was for the team I root for. It was what I thought they were going to do. So they got Baez and Trevor Williams, one of their starters. Trevor Williams now in AAA, essentially using him as a depth arm, and a guy who's probably gonna be on the big league club again very soon because they need help. DeGrom's elbow discomfort / the forearm tightness, I don't see him coming back till like September. They got Carrasco back. He started Friday, the night of the trade deadline. Mets brought back the black unis. Those looked clean as hell. But he starts tonight. And like he did on Friday, I mean, you're hoping another guy. It's going to be 4 or 5 innings. The Mets have not had a starting pitcher go more than 6 innings in like 2.5 weeks. And Carrasco probably not going to go 6. Rich Hill goes tomorrow. He's a 5-inning starting pitcher. So that's probably going to continue over the next 2 games before you head into a series against the Phillies, who are now creeping up a game and a half behind. They've won the last 2 against the Nats. To be honest, I think the Mets season is in jeopardy coming down to these five games. But the Yanks made some big splashes, and it's a guy that I didn't even bring up on Wednesday because I felt like it was an inevitable one, but I should have brought him up. But Joey Gallo, I thought the Yankees were going to make a deal for him, and they ended up making a deal for him. So he's been in left field. He's playing some great defense. Hasn't really done anything with the bat yet. But listen, you trade for a guy who bats .215, who hits a lot of home runs, strikes out a ton, but is a left-handed bat in that order. Another left-handed bat that I brought up, who I actually thought was going to a different AL East team in the Red Sox, is Anthony Rizzo. Yankees out of nowhere, but it made perfect sense for them. Guy who doesn't strike out a lot. Guy who makes contact from the left side. A good defensive first baseman. And both these trades, the Yankees only had to trade like farm depth, So, opposite of the Mets. Mets had to give up Pete Crow Armstrong, their fifth top prospect for Baez and Williams, but felt that they had to get something done with Lindor out. Yankees only have a few top guys, but a lot of depth. So they traded a lot of their depth, but they got two really good players. They have Joey Gallo under contract for next year, so that's not a rental. The Rizzo one might be a true rental, but who knows if they decide to give him some money based off of where their payroll is and if they want to stay under or if they're fine going past the luxury tax threshold. We'll see, but they didn't have to go over the luxury tax with Gallo and Rizzo because their salaries for this year are being paid by the teams that traded them. Very, very good deals for the Yanks. They also added Andrew Heaney, who started Monday at home, gave up 4 home runs and only went 4 innings. They were all solo shots, but didn't look sharp. I think that Heaney could be a very good player, a very good pitcher. And I feel like he hasn't. He's spent with the Angels for 7 years now. He's not like a young guy, but I think this is a lefty that has not even had his full potential in the majors, even after being in the league for 8 or 9 seasons. Big guy that didn't go, who I thought, Trevor Story and John Gray. Rockies kept on to them. Rockies front office literally said that the draft pick that they'll probably get for Story, because they have no intention of re-signing him, they felt that pick had more value than what they would trade him for. So, blatantly out and open, they're not going to re-sign him. They thought that the draft pick that they're going to get, if they offer him the qualifying offer, which he'll turn down, they thought that draft pick had more value than what any team would have offered them for a rental in Story who's looking for an extension. After we closed our segment last week, Starling Marte got traded to Oakland. That was like an early, before the deadline type of move. Marte went to the A's for Jesus Luzardo. Straight up, kind of like a cash dump for Oakland, in the sense that they told the Marlins, hey, you're paying this and we'll give you one of our top pitching prospects. And I'm surprised that Luzardo got traded. I think this is a guy who has great upside. I think the Marlins now have a true set 5-6 pitchers over the next few years, where the Marlins, they might be a few years away, but they are not too far off. If they sign a few offensive guys, that rotation is going to be top 5 in the majors. Good. They have something set up. The big one that happened, Scherzer and Trey Turner. Nationals gave up their 2 best guys to the Dodgers. We thought the Padres had the deal for him. That fell through. Dodgers ended up giving up Josiah Gray and Keibert Ruiz, 2 of their big top prospects. Ruiz was blocked by Will Smith and some other catchers. Gray had pitched in the bigs for the Dodgers this year, but a good haul for the Nats, who apparently they had no intention of giving Trey Turner any extension talk, and Scherzer, this was his walk year. They decided to just blow it all up. Schwarber to the Red Sox. Brad Hand went to the Blue Jays. They traded Yan Gomes and Josh Harrison to Oakland. Juan Soto's the only guy that they got, which obviously that's the guy, that's your cornerstone, that's the guy you want to build around. But they are in full rebuild mode. Window has closed for them, apparently. And I don't think you can say much after they won in 2019. So, like, I'm sure Rizzo was absolutely fine with, you come off a World Series. I'm okay breaking it down. I mean, at the end of the day, with Strasburg getting the thoracic outlet surgery, that's the guy you gave the money to after the World Series run, and you let Rendon walk. That might be the contract that was the first kind of stepping stone to having to rebuild. That's a contract that's going to be that looks really, really bad. I think he's only made 6 starts since he signed that contract at the end of 2019. Yikes. Yeah, so and this was a contract that was like over $200 million for like the next 5 years. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, not a good one. We talked about Adam Frazier going to the Padres. Giants got Chris Bryant. That's a move that happened right around the 4 p.m. deadline. That NL West is a really competitive one. I think the Giants had to get a bat. I thought that the Giants made most sense for Scherzer. I thought Scherzer... What did I say? I think I said I wanted the Giants to get Scherzer, but I think he was going to go to the Dodgers because I said the Dodgers were very desperate. Without Bauer, with some of the injuries, you have Walker Buehler and Scherzer now at your 1-2, with Bauer probably not seeing the field again this year, and Kershaw being a very solid 3. And this NL West, obviously, you have 3 teams that are looking to make the playoffs. To be honest, I think the Padres kind of whiffed at the deadline. I mean, they added Frazier, a guy that you didn't know how he was going to fit in. I really think the Giants the team, the chemistry's there. They play for each other. Guys are stepping up. Chris Bryant was the perfect guy just to throw right in the number 4 hole. And I think their pitching is good enough to carry them the rest of the way. If it is a division title, if it is getting the first wild card, depending how the Dodgers played down the stretch. But I really think the Padres fell short just because their pitching has not been as good as they thought it was going to be. Blake Snell's been really bad. Chris Paddock has not pitched well. I think Darvish has been hurt a little bit. So their Padres right now are sitting with the second wild card, and Cincinnati's playing well. They added some bullpen depth because that back end of the bullpen was pretty weak. Their offense is as good as anyone's, I feel like, with Winker and Castellanos and Jonathan India. Joey Votto had one of the hottest streaks in recent memory. He had a home run in 7 straight games.
Wow.
So for a week, he was just like, I'm going to hit dingers.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, and this is a guy that's like, old. He's 34 or 30. I mean, 36. I don't know. I thought that Votto, a lot of people thought Votto was never going to be the hitter that he was, in the prime of his career. Dude's got 20 bombs now, and he's driven like 55 runs. So he's been a very good very offensive, sound first baseman for them this season. And the rotation's pitching well. Luis Castillo's finally pitching a lot better than he did in the first few months. You guys, Sonny Gray, Wade Miley's been very well. Has pitched very well for them. I think they lost last night though. I think Trevor Malley had a clunker. Who else? Phillies added a few guys. They got Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy. They also brought in back Freddie Galvis. So they got some pitching help that they desperately needed. Another bullpen arm. Kennedy goes right into that closer's role. I mean, Phillies have blown so many, just like last year, blown so many games with their bullpen. So Yanks win yesterday. I think the Mariners beat the Rays. So I think the Yanks are like 2.5 out of the second wild card spot. Mets are only a game and a half up in the division. I'm very nervous. I think I'm not, and this is nothing light. I think once the Mets lose the first place, I'm saying once because I think it's really going to happen. Once they lose being in first place, which they've been in first place for 88 straight days.
That's wild.
So, I mean, tonight I think the Mets is a must win. I think they have to win tonight. Or like I told Vigneaults, I'm gonna enjoy today because even if they lose, they'll still be in first place when I wake up tomorrow by a half game. If the Phillies win again tonight, so like I get like 2 more days of happiness. So.
Do you think it's all downhill if they lose the number 1 spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
And not like they can't go on like a little run. I mean, this is a team that's usually a second half team, which they've been terrible so far this second half, and it's been through injury of DeGrom and Lindor and guys not performing, like Michael Conforto, just not performing. And they just have no pitching anymore. Because I think the Phillies, so the Padres are the number 2 wild card spot, and I believe the Phillies are 4 out of that. And I think the Reds are like 3 out of that. So let's say if the Mets lose their first place spot, you essentially flip with the Phillies. Now the Mets would be 4 out of the wild card, but obviously the path for the Mets to make the playoffs is to win this division because if you're not leading the division, you're 4 out of a second wild card. If you're in second place in the division, you're only a half game out of just mathematically, this division is not good this year.
It's the best chance.
It's for me, it's the best chance and their only chance. And Atlanta got better too. They got guys that they brought back Adam Duvall. They traded for Eddie Rosario. They brought in Richard Rodriguez from the Pirates. They got good, solid pieces that cost them nothing, especially like they're lingering like a game under 500, hoping that because the division's so bad, because they're only 2.5 games out of first place themselves. I mean, this is a 3-team race that like I'm truly believing that if whoever wins first place might not even win 90 games this year. Like this might be like an 87 win division to win it, which is insane. That's the thing. They think that they can get, if the Braves can just get in, who knows? I'm surprised, and that's why the Braves bought like low. Like, they didn't go for any splash. I mean, you're without Ronald Acuna Jr. for the rest of the year. Your start, like Ian Anderson's been on the shelf. Obviously, like Soroka's out for another year. Max Fried's been very good for them since coming back from the IL. The bullpen's pitching a little bit better. That's why they got Rodriguez, but I don't know. This Mets team is in trouble. I guess I'll come back next week and let you know, because after that, we'll really find out. Because you have 2 against Miami. They play, what's today? Wednesday? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they play Wednesday, Thursday. This is a 4-game set. Wednesday, Thursday, Miami. And then 3 against the Phillies. So, I mean, like, there's your division being lost in the next 5 days if they don't turn anything around.